Hello, and welcome to BuddyTalk. Today discussing connection techniques. Many connection techniques exist. How can I stay on top of them? We will address that today. First and foremost, the selection is what matters most. In other words, I have the connector defined by my trailer or towing vehicle, and I will find the appropriate light accordingly. Today we will show you the different rear lights. Here in the trailers and tractors section, and you'll notice a few things. You will see a lot.
Exactly. To start with, we have our connection here, our RK 1.5 connection. This is a waterproof connection with 1.5 pins and with a bayonet catch. But we will come to that later and explain the different ports like DIN and Schlemmer. Here they look very similar, but they are not the same. Furthermore, as Jens just mentioned, we have trailers, which means we have the triangle, indicating it's always my trailer's tail light. Or here, for example, directly comparing it to the towing vehicle's tail light without the triangle. Next, you'll see the bulb version is clearly recognizable over here with LED technology. Please always be mindful when purchasing or upgrading anything like that. Do I have the right vehicle for it? In this case, for example, that would be the manufacturer Volvo, which has a light that if we install it in conjunction with the technology of the towing vehicle, I won't have any problems with an error message afterwards. If I were to install this light on another model from a different manufacturer, you need to be aware that an additional control unit may be required. If you don't have that, we will naturally receive an error message displayed at the front, which we want to avoid.
Another important point is that we get the light lens separately, which is not true for some manufacturers. In those cases, I need to purchase a new light.
So pay attention to this. For example, it is screwed, it can be exchanged, and we also have the option to always find it in our online catalog under accessories. It is always noted there, if there were a light disc available.
Indeed, as PT mentioned earlier, the Gourmet connector has 7 poles. In other words, this is how it looks. This is a bulb version. I don't need an additional control unit for that. This light is suitable for DAF or Renault, for example.
Right. Then we have our DN connector here again, which a bayonet type, and it is also 7-pole inside. Here in this case, it is also a trailer rear light, and please pay attention to ensure that you have the right fit, especially at the back here. This is worth noting. Bolt distances and similar details are in our online catalog. This means you can quickly check if it fits behind my traverse, if I have the correct size, and if I can upgrade, for example, what I mentioned earlier with an LED technology or something like that. But everything is always detailed with us.
And last but not least, we have here our HDSCS connection. The major benefit here is that this is an improvement over the AMP connection. It is waterproof and resistant to vibrations. And especially when I drive with an empty tractor, I have no problems here. So this is the optimal solution, and in our opinion, anyway, the best connection technology currently available on the market. Yes, now let's discuss trailer wiring. This means we have 7, 8, and 5-pin connections, ASSI, ASA2. For instance, the 7-pin connector. It is primarily utilized in the 24-volt sector. And with the light, for example, I also don't need a control unit because each control unit is integrated.
Correct. We also offer the 8-pin version for the connections. Do not mix it up with the 5-pin version, which is the older type, while the 8-pin is the current one. What's currently popular is mainly in the 12-volt range, which is clear just by looking at the size, meaning we have a smaller light here, while the bigger one is up top. As you pointed out, it is indicated in the 24-volt range too. And we have the opportunity to specify that you should also distinguish between LED technology and traditional bulbs. So please keep that in mind. For trailers, we have a triangle in every light here, indicating they are all meant solely for trailer applications. And we also need to pay attention to what kind of connection you have at the back. As specified, or when you are restocking, you can certainly select from our options, as we have everything available, the accessories, connection methods, and cables.
They're all stored in our online catalog. There you can choose everything you need. And now we have a buddy tip for the ASS2 connector. There are 2 different connectors.
Here we have the set, which is especially practical for those who are still a bit inexperienced when it comes to connection technologies. You can also show the finished connector just now, We have different colors for the left and right plug so that you can see straight away whether you have the right plug for the corresponding side. You have to pay attention to that. Here, for example, you can see right away that this is the light that is to be mounted on the left in the direction of travel.
Green for the left and yellow for the right, but I can tell that from the vehicle. There I have also given the colors.
Exactly. So our buddy tip is, if you need something in terms of connection technologies, just look in the online catalog in the accessories tab for the corresponding light. Now we want to show you a few other things in the lighting area. That is, we always had the finished plugs. Here we have, for instance, rear lights that feature only a few lighting functions, but now with an open-end cable, meaning I haven't set up a plug here, so I can just implement a connection method however I prefer or what is suitable at the time as one option. Jens will show them to you now.
Yes, this is the PR system, known as Press&Ready. This means, as it appears here, I can connect a 2-pole cable here easily. I can link my side marker light and boundary light anywhere within the system. Naturally, I need this crimping tool, the 95-942-900, to crimp it properly.
Our buddy tip for the PNR system is to be cautious. If you have clicked it once, meaning it is firmly connected in the cable...
Then do not reopen it.
Yes. If you do open it, the problem is that there will be a potential surface for corrosion at the top. Cover it with a heat shrink tube using an inner adhesive, or you can use our self-fusing insulating tape, which will be included in the appendix, showing how to establish a connection. This way, you can protect the connection again to prevent any future electrical issues, such as capillary action with water. We've talked about these issues before.
When I have a faulty line, I simply cut the cable 10 centimeters behind the PR connector and leave the connector in place, and then continue from that point. Just as the PT mentioned, additionally, use another heat shrink tube with inner adhesive, and then I have it waterproof again.
Additionally, we have the DEC system, a double-click system, and here are the pliers, which correspond to our blue connectors. Also for accessories is comparable to the PNR system. We also transparently share what one enjoys, what one favors, can be incorporated as stated accessories tools. You mentioned earlier, it is all recorded in the catalog, lighting catalog, but also, of course, in our online catalog.
So, we also offer the standard 2-pole AMP connection, along with compatible plug housings. Therefore, we have that as well. To conclude, it is important to mention that in our lighting catalog, in the online catalog, the right plug type is always illustrated with the light.
And pay attention to your plugs, which you, for example, remove or retrofit on vehicles. There is also the issue of whether the wiring corresponds perfectly to what you have in front of you. Who knows who was there before? So you can see, okay, we are sure the plug fits the wiring or cable configuration of my light.
Yes, and for every light fixture, the correct installation side is always illustrated.
In the online or paper catalog, all necessary accessories like cables are listed below. This includes whether it's a plug set or perhaps another connection option with additional accessories, etc. Everything is always noted.
In the online catalog, there's a tab for accessories,
Yes.
whereas in the paper catalog, it's found under the light.
You can look everything up and choose what you need.